Hello everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio, and today I'm sharing with you an art journal page that I made inspired by our Art Joy of Sharing Art Community mood board, which we have every month, and this is November 2020. I made this yesterday on the Art Joy of Sharing live stream show. We every Thursday we live stream for people to come and join us in real time. So if you'd like to watch this in real time, you can go over to the other channel, the Art Joy of Sharing channel, and watch in real time. This is the speed up version. A lot of people like the speed up version, so I always make these for my own personal channel. So like I said, it was the mood board. Also, it happened to be Thanksgiving in the United States, so um, we are very thankful, Peg and I, for all the people who join us in the live stream, and I'm very thankful for all the people who support this channel. So thank you very much. Yesterday was the day of thankfulness, and I was very thankful, and I feel very blessed to have all of you with me. So the mood board is basically a collection of photos that either Peg and I create. This month it was me, and it's just like we look at photos on royalty-free sites and kind of bring them together by color or by shape or by mood. I was feeling kind of fall and the browns and the blues that you see in the fall and the rusty colors. And so that's how I felt when I created this mood board. You can be inspired by anything on it, if it's the colors, if it's the shapes, if it's one specific picture or all the pictures. It's up to you. But what I was looking at kind of on this one was the colors to start out with. I generally like to start with my colors. I think about color a lot. I notice color a lot. It's really part of my DNA is this interesting color that I have. So I decided to use some pan pastels, and I have two different sets of pan pastels. One was the portrait set and one was the landscape set. So I don't have all the colors, but I've kind of sorted them by color families in these 4 trays. And then I have a soft tool, that's SOFFT, which is basically a very compressed sponge that they recommend with the pan pastel. Pan pastel is a soft pastel that is bound in a dry medium, and it doesn't produce very much powder. You know, you're not like inhaling powder or anything. It's just very pigmented, very intense color. You're going to get a lot of color. It's very high quality, I guess I would say. Fun to play with. Maybe a little bit pricey for some people, but if you buy them in the sets, you know, the color coordinated sets, it's not so bad. And I really enjoy playing with them when I remember to get them out of the drawer. So what I'm doing right now is something that's interesting about pan pastel, and I think all soft pastels, artist quality soft pastels, is that you can erase them. So I have a white eraser and I'm just using a stencil. This is designed by Trish McKinney for Stencil Girl, and I'm erasing through the stencil and creating some pattern. And then I go back over the top with the pastel again with the same stencils and add some color back in and just keep kind of doing this layering thing on the background, which I thought was really fun. I like the way the pastels go through the stencil and leave kind of an outlined line. I know by the end you can't really see it very much, but at this point you really could. And it was really cool. See, I'm showing you. It kind of reminded me of that one picture of the guy drawing with chalk on the ground, the artist drawing with chalk. He made lines around lines, and it reminded me of that. That's why I brought that closer to the camera. Of course, I was talking through all of this. On live stream, it's in real time talking. And Peg is doing something else on the other side of the screen at the same time. That's how our live stream show works. We also have an art community, and so if you would like to join our art community, you can use the link below the video, and you need to answer the questions that pop up when you go to ask to join. It's on Facebook, and we have people over there sharing all the time, all their different artistic endeavors. Don't allow any advertising or selling. It's just for sharing, answering questions, things like that. So that's where you can find the mood board and our pick a stick challenge every month, and then whatever other challenges we happen to be having for that month, you can find them in the group. So now I have out some actual soft pastel. These are handmade soft pastels, and I'm using them to just kind of trace in some lines. And they feel similar to the pan pastel, but they're not as high quality, and I'm getting a lot more dust that I'm having to, wipe off. But I don't know, that's just how pastel is. It makes dust. It's just the way it is. So then I wanted to seal all of this, so I decided to use a brayer and some clear gesso. This is the Liquitex brand. Not my favorite, but I want to use it up. It has too much grit in it for me. It's got too much textury, gritty stuff in it. I don't like it. I want one that doesn't have that. I was also talking about brush pens. I've been really in love with this Pentel Pocket Brush India ink pen, but it only comes in black. And I was complaining about that, that I thought it should come in other colors. And then when I was looking online, I found a similar brush pen with a larger brush that comes in gray and sepia. And so I was planning on using those on my project today. First time I've used them. I haven't really been working in the studio at all. I've been taking a break from everything and just trying to get my mojo back, trying to get life back on track. I've just been in such a foul mood, so I decided to just take a break for this month. I should be back in December with more videos and projects that I'm doing in December. So I'm going to stop taking my break. But you can see that it does darken the pastel a little bit and kind of muddy it a little bit when you do that. You could use a spray fixative that's designed for pastels. It also will darken it, but you won't get as much muddying because, of course, I was going over it with the brayer. So, sorry about my voice. So then I decided to do some collage. You know, I'm a mixed media artist and I do a lot of collage. I love painty papers and paint scraps. I love to make things out of them. I enjoy this more than any other thing that I do, and I do a lot of different things on this channel, but of all of them, collage is my favorite. So I decided to do some mushrooms, a forest of mushrooms on my interesting fall background, because there is a picture of the mushroom on the mood board, and there's also kind of a rounded shape with a line in the middle that kind of also looks like a mushroom, although it's a grate. It's a, a grate with someone standing on it. But that type of a stick and circle shape is repeating on this mood board. Also, what the artist is drawing on with the chalk on the ground is similar to those shapes as well. So those were definitely inspired by the mood board. And I'm making different mushrooms. I'm cutting them out of paper. I'm gluing it all down with Yoo-Hoo glue stick, which is a blue glue stick that dries clear. And I'm putting it on the back really heavy. Sometimes I'm sticking two pieces together before I cut. Other times I'm cutting the pieces separately. But these are just scraps. I grabbed a few scraps that I thought matched the colors in the mood board. There's some stacks of books that have red and yellow, orangey colors, pink colors, and some more of this kind of teal and turquoise colors in the books. And then there's this rusty color on a couple of the papers. It's just, it all coordinates really well together. But like I said about mood boards, you can be inspired by anything that's on there. Maybe you just want to focus on the picture of the night in the city, or just the books. It's up to you. It's just a jumping off spot to help you get inspired to do something. So that's why we make them every month. And next month it will be Peg's turn to make it, and I will be doing the pick for the pick a stick. We trade off that way so that we don't both have to do everything all the time. It's nice to have a partner that goes and does stuff with you, and you don't have to do all the work. She lives clear across the country from me, so we also have different time zones. It's kind of funny, but it works out for us. So I'm continuing to create mushrooms. I want to make some of those little skinny ones that grow in a bunch. I want to make tall ones. I want to make fat ones. I want variety of size and color and shape, and I want them to fill up my whole page. So I'm continuing to cut. These are cut. This is cut collage. I'm using scissors. I don't tear any of this. Sometimes I make torn paper collage, which is, exactly what it sounds like. Torn paper as opposed to cut. This one's more like a paper piecing, but I'm freehanding these. I'm not drawing, um, a shape for myself. I'm just cutting them as I go with scissors, with little sharp scissors. So there's some of those little bunchy ones that grow together. I want to make a tall, skinny one. I want to make another tiny one that's under this other one. I just keep going. I'm just filling up the whole place with mushroom shapes that are colorful and different. They're all kind of different. They're not the same species because, there's a lot of choices in mushroom land. I do remember going mushroom hunting in the Pacific Northwest when I was a child. Um, it was something that I did with my mom and some friend of hers, and I don't remember who it was. I just remember going out and tromping in the woods, and that friend knew all about the mushrooms and which ones were poison and which ones were really tasty, and how you could find them, what they grew on. Were they under the loam, or were they on top? Were they on a tree? And I don't remember any of I didn't retain any of the information about the mushrooms, but I do remember doing that as an activity a couple different seasons. It was it invokes a smell in my brain, um, kind of this wet wood smell, because that's the Pacific Northwest has big evergreen type trees where we were, and the ground is moist. It rains a lot, so we must have went over to more the coastal side of the state to do this, because where I actually lived was a lot drier. It was more of a desert like on the eastern side of Oregon. So I guess maybe we drove somewhere to do it. I don't remember that part. But I do remember going, and this page invokes nostalgia for that reason. Not because I think mushrooms are cute, although they are, but more that I just have memories attached to them. So once I get everything glued down, I'm going to do some detail work and make this more dramatic. I guess I thought I needed to cut that off, and making sure everything's glued down and stuck really well. I have one very tall, thin mushroom hanging out at the top, and it kind of gives that mountain shape that I was going for as far as composition. So then this is one of those pens. This is made by Pentel, and I will find it and put a link below. There's a gray one and a sepia one. I bought them off of Amazon, so I will be able to find them and link them below for you. It is not India ink like the Pentel pocket brush that I'm so in love with, but they are a different color. They're a little bit blendier with water. I'm using a water brush to blend it out, and after it was dry in one spot, I did try to wipe it off with a wet wipe, and it didn't really wipe off once it was dry. I think it's semi-permanent. It's not going to be as permanent as the pocket brush is, because that's India ink. It dries down permanent, like is not going to come off. I think these are a little bit more transient than that, but a very good option. The brush is longer, and so I do wish that it was the pocket brush, the same one that is the black, that these two colors came in, but it did not. There was also red, and I didn't buy the red. I didn't really see a use for myself for the red, but here I am adding the craters to this other mushroom that's it's got like little holes in it. I've seen this mushroom before. I just don't know what the name of it is, but I remember what it looks like. It had like a lot of little craters in it, like the moon kind of. So I'm doing that with that brush. So you can see that there's a possibility of having very small to very large marks with it. Same type of mark making that I've been doing with the pocket brush. I think you could do with this Pentel color something brush. I wish that I remembered exactly what it's called, but I had been thinking that I was going to buy more pocket brushes and I was going to take them apart, take the ink out, and try to uh, make my own sepia. And then what I really wanted was a Payne's gray one, which is kind of a navy color. Um, but I found these, and I think that I'm going to be satisfied enough with this color option for the Pentel brush brush pens. They really do have a brush. It's not like a felt tip brush. It is an actual synthetic brush, very similar to what you'd get in like these water brushes that I have. So anyway, that's my that's my discussion about that. But I'm using it for all the shading around the edges, and then I'm blending it with a water tank brush, which is a similar idea, only just you put water in it. And I'm also using a Posca white pen. That's an acrylic marker in a fine tip, not the extra fine, but the fine tip. It's got kind of a felty tip to it as well, but it's got acrylic paint in it. The white, I'm using that. And I was holding that up just now because I was saying, look at what difference it makes between the right side and the left side when you add the shadows and the details, how much difference that makes. A lot of people who do collage just leave it. They glue the stuff on and they're done. And me being a mixed media artist, I can't tolerate it. I have to have my own marks and my own shading and uh, more interest to it. It adds more drama. It makes it more interesting. So I guess that's part of my style that people say I have. I guess I have a style. I don't know. But anyway, it makes such a difference. I wished everyone would do it. So I'm continuing on all the way to the other side with the sepia brush and the white Posca pen and doing some detailing. And then I'm going to add even more drama with some more color. So you'll see that coming out. Okay, now I've got out my Stabilo Woodies. These are water reactive pencil crayons, a lot like a pastel really, but they're more waxy. But the look of them is similar to the pastels. And I'm adding some of that in places, and it's very blendable with water. It's very, very reactive to water. This Stabilo stuff is. They're fat, they're fun to hold, they're fun to scribble with. And I'm just adding some intense colors in places over my painty paper that I collaged on just to make some more interest happen. And then I do eventually bring back in those other soft pastels that I was using earlier. I don't have very many colors. I do wish I had colors of those as well, but that one little box is all I have in the handmade soft pastels. So I bring them back in and add some more uh, parts of color with them as well. Um, but yeah, this was a fun project. It was a good day to just play in the studio with my friends and be thankful for my art journey and my channel, and I hope that all of you enjoy this. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment or question below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on your notification bells if you haven't already. Uh, it's pretty depressing to come and look at my channel that I haven't been doing any work on, and to see all the red down arrows, down, down, views are down, everything's down. it's that's what happens if you're not doing work on your channel. I mean, I can't expect anything else, but I do hope that you guys will thumbs up and comment and all that stuff. For this one, I hope that it's good enough that you'll do it so that maybe it'll bring some of those arrows back up. Just I don't like to see that, but it's my own fault. I just, you know, it's not so important to me that I am forcing myself to go into the studio and work. So that's how it goes. So I was pretty happy with that. I added a little bit of splatter to it. And then I decided maybe I'd put some words on. This Tim Holtz one has like little clippings from books, like little words from books that are, that's the only way I can describe it. And they're kind of that off-white color, which I thought went with the page because it's all these got the fall colors in the background. It says, "Little things by the light of the moon, magic in truth." It's 3 different stickers. And I thought that pretty much summed it up right there. So I put some glue on those because I knew they weren't going to stick down permanently. And I added a little bit of shading and shadows around them with that same sepia brush uh, marker, pen. I guess it's a brush pen. And I think I signed it and I was done. I might have added a couple more little things. I'm not sure. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving if you were here in the United States. I hope everyone is well and safe and happy wherever you are. So that is it for me. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.